Hey everyone, it's Jonathan here, founder of Driving Academy. In today's video, we're going to be going through a pre-trip inspection for CDL Class B. We're going to give you a little bit extra today because it's not just going to be a Class B, but a Class B with passenger endorsement, right? So if you're looking to get a CDL Class B or a CDL Class B with passenger endorsement, this video will definitely give you the guidelines of what you need in order to pass the CDL road test. Now, if you don't know who I am, I'm sorry to hear that, but I am the founder of the best CDL school in the entire country, called Driving Academy. We have locations nationwide. We plan to open up more locations as the years pass. So if you don't know the newest updates when it comes to the pre-trip inspection, you really want to make sure that you watch this video all the way to the very end, because we're going to give you the tips and tricks of exactly what you need to know in order to make sure that you get yourself that CDL license that you're after. Our mission as a company is to actually help 1 million people get on the road to freedom. And what's more free than driving where you want to go and making more money while you're doing it? That being said, let's get going with the CDL Class B pre-trip inspection. All right, so now the first thing you have to know about the pre-trip inspection is going to be the outside inspection of this vehicle itself, right? Now, the road test itself is going to be split into 3 different parts. Part 1 is going to be inspecting both the inside and outside of the vehicle. Part 2 is going to be parking the truck up to 4 different ways. And then Part 3 is going to be driving the vehicle on the road itself. But you have to pass Part 1 before you can even get into Part 2 or Part 3. And if you were to fail, this is actually the hardest part, so make sure you pay attention. So on the front of the vehicle, what are we checking for? We're going to be checking for things like our lenses, right? So our lenses are all the proper color. This is all of our lights, right, from top to bottom. Proper color, not cracked, not broken at all. Now, we're not really saying that they're operating properly, because if you did it correctly and you actually watched their video on the in-cab inspection, part of the in-cab inspection is doing what's called an external light check, which means you're going to ask the examiner, hey, I need to do an external light check. Can you please help me out with this? They're going to come out of the vehicle. They're going to be checking all the lights. And you're going to be pointing to the lights that you're checking. And they're going to give you a thumbs up to make sure that they actually do physically work itself, right? So we're making sure that all this stuff is working properly. They're going to go down the sides of the vehicle, check the back. And all the lights should be working by the time you get to the outside inspection. So now we're just making sure that the lenses are clean, clear, and the proper color without any cracks or breaks itself. From there, we're going to be checking if you're dealing with a school bus, any type of mirror that we have on the hood. We want to make sure that it is secure. The brackets and frames are all secure as well, no damage. And then we're going to check underneath the vehicle. We want to make sure that there's no puddles on the ground or dripping fluids under the engine or transmission. We want to make sure that our bus is sitting level, right? Front to back and side to side. That's going to let us know that we don't really have any major suspension issues itself. Once we've kind of covered everything in the front, then it's actually time to actually open up the hood and see what's going on in the engine underneath. Let's follow me. All right, so when it comes to opening up the hood, whether it's a bus or a tractor trailer or an actual box truck, whatever it is, you want to make sure that you're unlatching the latches on both sides and you're putting your foot on the bumper if you need to and pull back nice and easy. This is an expensive piece of the truck, so you definitely don't want to ruin this at all. That being said, let's see what we got to check underneath the hood. All right, so out of those 3 fluids, we're going to have 2 of them on this side like we talked about. One is going to be the engine oil. This is what the engine oil dipstick looks like. So all we have to do is point out where the dipstick is. From there, we're going to be talking about our power steering fluid. And this piece right over here is actually where the dipstick is. Then we're going to tell the examiner, okay, my job is to make sure it's at the proper fluid level by pulling these dipsticks out, wiping them down, putting them back in, and I'm going to be inspecting these things when the engine is off to make sure I have a good reading. And I want to make sure it's in the proper and safe operating range, because it's going to be between the add line, which is the minimum, right, and the maximum line on the actual vehicle dipstick itself, right? From there, since we're on this side, we're going to just finish everything on this side, and then we'll go to the last fluid level on that side, which is going to be the coolant. So the next thing we're going to be talking about this side is going to be a super important part, which is handling your steering system. So let me show you exactly in detail what the steering system looks like. All right, so part of our steering system is going to be our power steering box. We have to make sure that it is securely mounted and not leaking. My steering hoses, which then need a hose that connects to the power steering box, is not cracked, worn, or leaking. The steering system has no missing nuts, bolts, or cotter keys itself. And my links, arms, and rods are not worn or cracked. My joints and sockets are not worn or loose. And again, no missing nuts, bolts, or cotter keys. And that's pretty much everything you have to say when it comes to the steering system. Now let's go to the other side and finish up underneath the engine. All right, so now when it comes to this side of the engine, the passenger side of the engine, there's only one thing we have to check, which is going to be the coolant level, right? So our coolant level, there's no leaks on the actual coolant itself. We're going to check for the hoses like we talked about before. But in most important piece, we want to make sure that the coolant's in the proper level. The other thing that we want to say is we see that through the sight glass. And I would never remove the cap unless the engine was cool itself. And that's pretty much everything you have to worry about when it comes to underneath the hood. Now that we're there, we're going to be going to the tire next. All right, so now when it comes to the tires, you want to know that you're going, for the test itself, you're going to be inspecting only the steering axle. So you're going to be checking things like the entire tires, the rims, the suspension, and the brakes itself. So let's just break down the tires. The tires is broken down to three main parts. One is going to be the tread depth. The other is going to be the tire condition, and then it's going to be tire inflation. So if we start from the top, it's going to be, again, my tread depth itself from my front tires cannot be any less than 4/32 of an inch. On the back tires cannot be any less than 2/32 of an inch. What does that actually mean? The gaps between these tires, the depth that it goes, has to be at least 4/32 of an inch itself, right? The more the tread actually is, the more control you have on the vehicle and the better traction you're going to get. So that's super important there. When it comes to the actual tire condition, we want to make sure that our tread is evenly worn, no cuts or damage to the tread or to the sidewall, and there's no like rust or leaks or anything like that, and it's securely sealed to the actual rim. From there, we're going to be checking the tire inflation. The tire inflation, I'm going to check with the tire gauge itself, and I'm going to look for the actual valve stem, and my valve stem and cap cannot be missing, damaged, or broken, and not leaking. And with the tire inflation, I cannot have any less than 90 to 100 psi on this individual tire and any of the tires that I do have. And that pretty much covers everything you have to know about the tire. All right, so the next thing we're going to be talking about is going to be the rim, right? So the main thing with the rim is it cannot be damaged. No welding repairs on here, no cracks, no holes, no damage at all, right? From here, I want to make sure that it's actually sealed to the tire itself. And I want to make sure that there's no rust trails to indicate any type of looseness on the rim. I'm going to be inspecting my studs and my bolt holes, make sure that there's no damage there and no elongated or out of round holes. From there, we're going to be checking our lug nuts. So these are the nuts securing the rim to the actual studs itself. And these lug nuts all have to be present, none are missing, and they all are tight because there's no indications of looseness, such as rust trails or shiny treads. And that's everything you really have to talk about when it comes to the front of the vehicle itself and the tires piece. From here, we're actually going to go behind the tire to talk about things like our suspension and our brakes. So follow me along and let's get deeper with it. All right, so now as we talk about the suspension itself, we have to understand we have our leaf springs, which is these over here. They're not missing, shifted, cracked, or broken. My spring mounts is what secures the leaf spring to the vehicle, which is going to be these spring hangers, and my U-bolts here. They cannot be cracked, damaged, or broken, and no missing or loose or missing any parts. This yellow piece over here is going to be our shock absorber. Our shock absorber has to be secure, not damaged or leaking. And the other thing that we'd be checking on some vehicles is going to be something called the air ride suspension. Now, my air ride suspension has to be mounted securely, not leaking. Most vehicles don't have this in the front, but you might have it in the back itself. From here, we're going to be checking our brake components, right? So what we're going to be checking for is brake contaminants. So I don't want to see any contaminants such as debris or grease that's going to affect the braking capacities of the vehicle itself. And there's no damage to the brake lining or to the brake drum at all. And again, it's behind this tire, very difficult to see, but it's super important that you do talk about it on the test, or else you won't get credit for that. From there, we're pretty much done with underneath the hood, and we'll move on to the sexy part, which is the outside of the vehicle. All right, so now for the outside of the vehicle, we're going to be inspecting all of our mirrors, right? So mirrors or traffic monitoring devices. If you have a newer vehicle, potentially you're going to have a camera on there. So this one does not. We're just going to be calling it our mirrors. They're securely mounted. All the brackets are secure, no missing parts, not bent or damaged at all, right? From there, then we're going to come on back over here. We're going to be checking our fuel tank. So this is our fuel tank. This is the door. We're going to want to make sure that the cap is on tight. We want to make sure that there's no leaks from the tank or from the lines, and the tank itself is mounted securely. Underneath the vehicle itself, if we bend down, we're able to see the frame. So we want to make sure that our frame and frame members are not cracked, damaged, have no holes or missing, and make sure that the floor of the vehicle is also good as well. So that's in good condition, not cracked, damaged, no holes on the actual floor. From there, we're going to just take a step back, and we're going to check out all of our lenses. Anything that we did not catch on the front of the vehicle, we want to mention them now. So they're clean, not broken, not cracked, and all proper color. And any type of reflective tape that you have on the vehicle or reflectors that you have on the vehicle, proper color and properly clean, and making sure that they're not broken, and make sure that they're attached to the vehicle properly. And that's pretty much it when you have a Class B vehicle. Pretty simple stuff. Now let's move to the back of the vehicle and see exactly what we have to check there. All right, so now let's talk about the back of the vehicle itself. So when it comes to the back of the vehicle, we'll want to make sure that we're checking all of our lenses. They're all the proper color, everything's working okay, and not cracked or broken. But when I'm scanning this, I'm actually seeing that this one is actually cracked. So this will not pass inspection. This actually is scheduled to get fixed next week, so don't worry about that itself, right? From here, we want to make sure all the reflectors are working properly and are fixed properly to the vehicle, including this reflector right over here. And then lastly, we want to make sure that the door is working properly. So let's see how that works itself. So we're going to open up the door. We're going to be able to open it up and then close it. And there you go. It opens and closes properly without any issues. Now you might be thinking, hey, Jonathan, we're in the back of the bus. Does that mean we're done with the test? And the answer is no, because the instructions that somebody are going to give you is going to be okay. I want you to inspect everything on this vehicle, down the passenger side of the vehicle, and anything that's unique on the driver's side. So now the question is there anything unique on the driver's side? Now, put in the comments below, is there something unique on the driver's side? Did we miss anything or not? Man, I want to see what your comments believe. But if you said, yes, there is something unique on the driver's side, you were correct. And that's one of the cool things about coming to the best CDL school in the country, because we're going to get you all the skills and all the knowledge that you need in order to pass. And what is actually unique on the driver's side? See if you can remember. It's going to be the battery box. So let's go over there and let's inspect the actual battery itself. All right, so whether you're doing a Class B truck or a Class B bus, you are going to have to inspect the battery itself, right? And the battery is going to be in different spots in different vehicles. So the battery, we want to make sure that the door opens and closes properly. Our batteries are secure to the actual vehicle itself. All my lines are secure and connections are tight, and there's no excessive corrosion on any of the connections here. So everything looks to be working properly when it comes to the battery itself, right? Now, the cool thing is, if you're going to go for a CDL Class B license, that gives you the ability to drive any single vehicle. But here at Driving Academy, we actually add some extra oomph to it, and we ask you to get a passenger endorsement. Because that gives you the ability to drive a vehicle like this, which is the bus, and also gives you the ability to drive a vehicle like this, which is like a bobtail tractor, or like a box truck or a dump truck or anything that you want to do there. If your mission is to get yourself a CDL Class B, there's no better school that you can go to except here at Driving Academy. Check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com. We have locations nationwide, and we can find the location near you the best. The cool thing about our organization is we're open up 7 days a week, which means we can work around your current work schedule or life schedule itself. And all you need is $500 down, and we can work out an interest-free payment plan for the rest. So we try to make it super affordable so anyone can get themselves on the road to freedom with the CDL license. So this is pretty much the inspection that you need to do for the actual bus itself. And again, if you're going to go for a Class B box truck, it's going to be a lot of the similar things that you're going to have to worry about. Now, if you have not seen the first video on how to do a proper in-cab inspection, make sure you subscribe and check out our videos on our channel, because it's definitely going to be something that you want to see if you want to be able to pass the test. And this is just the first part, right? You're going to have to know how to park the vehicle properly, especially if you're taking the bus. You're going to have to know how to drive it on railroads, make sure you'll be able to pick up and drop off passengers, and all of that stuff is stuff that we're going to teach you. And we also offer lifetime job placement. So don't worry, get yourself a CDL license. I'll help you find a job after. There's about a currently 80,000 driver shortage right now in the country, and we could definitely help you fill that shortage up and change the rest of your life forever. So what are you waiting for? Check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com. Put in the comments below. Let me know if I missed anything in this inspection itself. This is the new 2025 inspection, and if you study this word for word, you have a much higher chance of passing your CDL road test and getting yourself on the road to freedom. One more time, check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.